Before someone becomes a guardian, they absolutely want to consider the need of the person. If that's a minor child, is that parent unavailable, unwilling, or unable to provide for the needs of that child? And does the child then need a legal guardian? Because either of the natural parents are unable to be that. In the context of an adult, what we want to consider is the degree of capacity that the adult has. Do they have a diagnosis of dementia or Alzheimer's or a mental illness that there is unmanaged to the degree that it's debilitating and they're unable to make decisions? Once you have come to those kind of threshold questions of do we need a guardianship, if the answer is yes, the facts and circumstances fit the legal basis that we need to establish a guardianship, the proposed guardian should think about the rights and responsibilities that they will then have if they become the guardian. Do you have the time and the ability to take on these responsibilities? When it comes to a minor child, it's very much like taking on the role of parenting a child. Oftentimes, although not always, the child will live in the home of the guardian. The guardian's responsible for school enrollment and making sure that their educational needs are met, making sure medical needs are met and appointments are occurring, enrolling them in extracurricular activities, just as if it was a child of that guardian. When we think about an incapacitated adult, we think about a lot of the same things. Whether or not that person resides with the guardian is not dispositive of the guardianship role, but the guardian is responsible for making sure that they are living somewhere that is the least restrictive environment possible to meet their reasonable needs. That can be independent living with supports, it can be assisted living, it can be skilled nursing, it can be a whole host of things, but that guardian is responsible for gathering information, processing that information, and ultimately making those decisions. And oftentimes, in the case of a full guardianship, that guardian's also responsible for dealing with the person's money and assets, sending money and checks where they need to be, directing investments that are in the best interests of the ward. You're acting as a fiduciary in that capacity, and every decision that you make, whether you're a guardian of a minor or the guardian of an adult, is supposed to be through the scope of the best interests of that person. And you also need to make sure that none of your own interests could come into conflict with what is at interest of their best interests, or what is at issue with their best interests.